Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been happening in my life. In today's video, I just want to talk about this thing that I noticed in my life, in which that sometimes people, like, I try to be as kind and basically, how do you say? In French, it's bienveillant. So, like goodwill towards other people, and I try to make positive assumptions about people. But sometimes, because life is just life and life is made up of all sorts of people, that leads to a lot of disappointment. And you know, in my life, I've been trying to deal with people. I'm trying, basically, my general approach is to deal with people with grace, but still, sometimes people, I don't know, project their limiting beliefs onto you and basically want to hold you back unconsciously just because uh, they view life as a competition. And that's really something that I really don't like. And basically, in the past, is that the way I would deal with this is that you just screaming things on top out of the rooftops. I don't know what's the expression, but basically, just forcing an assumption of goodwill on someone who's clearly proving you that they don't have it. And I was always getting beaten in the back by that and getting hurt by that. But now I've kind of reached a middle ground where I try to keep my truest, most positive energy for people that I think are worthy of it. And then if someone shows me through their actions that they're not worthy of my genuine, most joyful, optimistic self, I usually just accept it instead of trying to basically give them a free pass on the way that they behave towards me. And I've been feeling much better about it. I'm only thinking about this is because in life there will always be cynics and people who uh, you know, basically not envy you for your ambition, but basically just want to uh, like, this reminds me of this quote from Alex Hormozy, is that people don't want what's best for you. They don't want the best version of you. They just want the version of you that serves them best. And this is a hard learned lesson that most of the time a lot of people will say, ah, yeah, like on the outside, they will say the words of, oh yeah, of course I want what's best for you, and things like this. And actually, they might even actually believe it. But the truth is, from their actions, you can feel that it most often the version that they're trying to promote of you is the version that serves them best. And it's very rare to find someone who truly wants what's best for you. And that's why I try my very best to, like, when dealing with other people, to truly root for them regardless of how that relates to me. And obviously that's hard because I'm a human being, and also I have my own agenda, like subconsciously, it's not always easy to do this. And I just want to be the kind of person that truly roots for the people around me. And it's okay to accept, like, that life is made out of people, basically of long-term thinkers and short-term thinkers and medium-term thinkers. And usually the people who succeed in the short to medium term are a bit less likely to succeed in the long term, or I don't know. I don't know if that's true, to be honest, but just from reading a bit Nassim Nicholas Taleb's book, Fooled by Randomness, there are a lot of people who get lulled by the short term and medium term upsides of their actions, that they don't like. They basically use this heuristic to predict that this will also work for the long term, but that's not how most optimization problems work. Is that usually, if you're truly optimizing for the long term, the likelihood that the strategy that works for the long term is also a good strategy for the short term and a good strategy for the medium term is very low, just because of the nature of the problems that we face in life. And so basically people don't realize that they are actually optimizing for the short term, because they think that short-term success repeated over and over again will lead to long-term success, and that's really not the case. It's a bit of a heuristic that I don't know how I got to this point, but I don't know what the point that I was trying to make earlier was, but it's just in terms of relationships with people, I think it's really important. I've learned to determine between the people that know what, like, basically, I think my assumption that was wrong in the past is that I would assume that, given that it's very well documented, that the long-term benefits of a lot of things are very well documented, that people are always choosing the long-term perspective, and then I would basically be blindsided by the fact that actually a lot of people end up choosing short-term to medium-term, let's say, strategies. And basically, because I made an assumption that everyone is choosing the long-term strategy because it was statistically proven that it's good, I was making the assumption that it's the decision that people make, and that would basically lead to lots of disappointment on my end. And so basically right now, my approach with regards to this is to try to understand and accept whether someone is as long-term minded as they say they are, because the only way to know if they are truly long-term minded is through their actions and not through what they say. And it's really easy for short-term minded people and medium-term minded people to say that they are focused on the long term, but their actions don't reflect it. And basically, I've learned to distinguish. I think I have between the two, or I am learning to do it. Obviously, basically the caveat that if someone at some point in their life was like optimizing for the short term, medium term, does not mean that it will always be the case. And basically, to localize my judgments to a period of time that's short enough that the likelihood of there being a change is very low, and also make sure to question that judgment frequently enough that I don't make wrong assumptions about people based on their past behavior. So basically, always keep an open mind, but still not be still have a judgment, even if it's very localized, like to one day. Or I think probably I tend to localize my judgments to probably 1 month increments, probably a bit more if I'm being honest with myself, like 3 month increments or a bit more. Like I really don't know, because this is something that I do unconsciously, but I'm trying to be more how do you say, conscious about it. But this is obviously a process that's not very easy process. I'm always trying to basically rise about human behavior, but from a mathematical perspective. I just find this incredibly interesting because basically we forget to apply the stuff that we have learned from a academic standpoint to actual life. And you can theorize all you want about things if those things that you theorize about don't hold up in practice. I guess it's just a bit of procrastination and a waste of time. So I try to take an imperial approach to the things that I learn, and basically just apply stuff that I learned from books, but in a real world setting where not everyone will see the long-term view. And actually, you can expect that a lot of people will be focused on the short-term to medium-term view and accept that, so that basically, when accepting that, you can come up with a more localized solution in which you're more likely to succeed. I don't know if that makes sense or if it's just rambling. I've just been thinking about this because I've sort of changed the way that I behave around certain people. I mean, in my life, just because, I mean, I always, first time I meet someone, I always give them the benefit of the doubt, always make positive assumptions about them, but then as soon as they start proving me wrong, I just stop extending them or basically decrease the speed of like basically my trust in them just deteriorates. And unless they actually want to restore that trust, I don't really have a reason to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore, because your actions say more about you than what you say about yourself. So it's a very interesting topic that I've been pondering, and I mean, hopefully it helps me learn to address situations, like see things as they are, like just find out what is, like get the best representation of the truth so that I can basically react in the best way possible. And by adjusting my representation of the truth with information that people give me about the truth through their actions or behaviors, then I'm better able to not necessarily react, but just interact with these people in a way that's actually fair and that's benevolent and good-willed, without being manipulated and without being taken advantage of. So it's an interesting topic. I hope some of this made sense. If not, I'm practicing my thinking about this and trying to put it into words and formulate the way that I see it. And obviously my current understanding of this is it still has ways to go in terms of improvement, but yeah, like the only way I can improve is by honing the ideas more. And so by explaining them here, it helps me question, it forces me to verbalize them so that I can spot the flaws and basically improve on the ideas through the sheer power of iteration. So yeah, I hope this was interesting to you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so the one right before this one, and you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. So I hope you have a fantastic day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!